Hello, we are back with the Ask Mike show, and this is all about the education system for business owners. So, there's a lot of talk about the future and business owners and all those things, but one of you has asked me all about how the education system how the education system fits in with the whole business owner and entrepreneurship mindset, mentality, and skill set, and all those things. And my take on it is that the education system works really well if it maps to your profession, if it maps to your career, if it maps to what you want to do. Now, I'm all for like side hustles. I'm all for all those things, right? I'm all for running a business and doing the whole education system and job, right? I've got no quarrels with people that want to do that. But unless your job or your career requires like a college education or a university education, then it doesn't really map to your future, right? It doesn't map to what you want to do. So whenever I've spoken to children, whenever I've spoken to teenagers, whenever I've given talks and all those things, I've always said that you've got to map it to what you want to do or what you want to do at that moment in time. So it doesn't have to be 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, and mapping your future to that. Because I'm telling you now that I don't really know what I want to do like 20 years from now. I don't know what I'll be doing, but I know that right now there are certain things that I want to do, and I am mapping my life to that. Same thing when you're a teenager. You don't have to have your whole life mapped out and make your decision now based on your entire future when you've got the least amount of information, right? Because when it comes down to, you don't have a lot of information over what you want because you've been told what to do, what to think, the answers to questions, how to go about your day, what to eat, all that you've been told how to live until this point. And then for the first time, they're taking the stabilizers off, giving you the reins and saying, you've got to make your decisions based on your entire future. That's not true because job security isn't the same. Business security isn't the same. So to turn around and say, okay, I'm going to base my entire future on my education, it's not very effective. It's not very helpful. There are plenty of different ways that you can learn. And this is just for a job side of things. This has got nothing to do with the business. If you're a business owner, 9 times out of 10, you've experienced some form of it when you were younger. So for me, it was Pokemon cards. I was trading Pokemon cards. I'd sell one or two, but most of the time it was trading because it was about value more than anything else. So that's where I learned the value of that. Then I was washing cars and all those things. So there is an element of that was the way it was. A combination of a lot of things led up to me being a business owner and being an entrepreneur from when I was about 18. I really started, but I had the experience until then, so it was a bit more natural. So you will have something inside you that tells you that the education system isn't for you, that things just don't really fit, that the things that they're telling you are important just don't seem right to you, and you will not want to keep going. You will not want to keep in the box that people are putting you in, and you will want to go out and do your own thing. If you have that desire, then I strongly suggest that you do it, because one of the biggest regrets ever is not living your life. When people have done everything that they felt that they needed to do, they've lived a life, and at the end, one of their main regrets is living a life that somebody else wanted for them and not their own. So you want to counteract that by always going off what you think is right in the moment. And you can change, you can grow, you can develop and bring new things in, take new things away. You need to take new things away, take old things away, and it's possible. Is the education system a part of that? Maybe, because you can taste it, you can learn new things, try a lot of different things before you can make your decision. And that's okay. So it's helpful to taste things. The education system is good because it exposes you to a lot of different things, and you can then decide whether that's something you want to pursue or not. But there's nothing stopping you from going about it after school, after college, after university time, and trying out a business idea, trying out certain things. So you've got education, business, trying things out, taking things away, adding new things in, and keep going. That's what life is all about. Life is about experiencing new things, getting rid of the things that don't feel right, keeping the things that do feel right. That's what it's about. I'm not going to say education system is horrible, is terrible. I'm not a fan of how the education system works in general, but you've got to decide whether it maps to your future or not. And business owners generally, you don't learn how to run a business when you're in school, when you're in college. Most business degrees are obsolete by the time you've graduated. And the real world very rarely actually operates like it does in university. So that is the thing that you've got to consider. That is the thing that you've got to understand. It depends on your business, depends on what it is that you want to do. Do I think it's a fit for everyone? Definitely not. Do I think anyone can start a business? Definitely. I think we're in a world now, as we're recording this, 2020, that anyone can start a business. Anyone with a smartphone can start a business. But you've got to understand that that's another avenue of self-discovery, of discovering what works, discovering what doesn't, and going at it in that way rather than starting it and that's it and that's the way it's going to be. If you go into it with the "this is me for life" type attitude, you're always going to be underwhelmed. You're always going to be stuck because you don't think you can change, and that's not true. So education system isn't for everyone. It can put you in a box you can be spending the rest of your life trying to get out of. But what it boils down to is this: if it doesn't map to the future that you want, doesn't map to the business that you want to run, doesn't map to the profession that you want, then don't do it. And you've got to be strong enough, you've got to be confirmed enough in your own beliefs and in your own self. A lot of people are simply too uncomfortable in their own skin to really go out there and stretch themselves. You've got to be in a space where you're comfortable, you're safe enough, and you're strong enough, and you trust yourself enough to go out there against the word of everybody else, against the grain, do things that nobody else is thinking of. And that takes an entrepreneur, that takes a business owner, that takes a free thinker, it's a forward thinker. You've got to forward think in order to start putting these things into place. Otherwise, you never will. And you'll be in the rat race because that's all you've ever known. That is not for you. If you want to be a business owner, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you've got to start seeing things differently to the way that you've always saw them. Seen them, saw them. That's just the way it is. That's what you've got to do. Education system helps for about 10% of the actual journey. And that is from when you start to when you finish and you decide to go and do whatever it is that you want to do. I don't use any of what I learned in school and college and university with my degree. I don't use any of that now. I wasn't taught how to podcast or how to speak. I hated speaking until I started to do it more often. And you don't get enough opportunities to do it to know if it's what you actually want to do. So there's a sort of double-edged sword with that, because you get a lot of opportunities in the education system, but you might not get enough repetition for you to see that it is what you actually want to do. Now I speak nearly every day, and I enjoy it. Sometimes I feel better after I've done it. If I go, oh, I'm having a bad day, I'll do something. I'll speak. I'll do a video. I'll do a podcast. I'll do this, and this. And I'll feel better because I've done it. That's one of the ways that I know that it's right for me. Education system didn't teach me that. So don't expect too much of a system that doesn't really help 80% of the people that actually go through it all. And most people become lecturers, teachers, people that teach people the things that they've learned from the same system. So it feeds itself. All right. So just something to worry about, because we're in a world now where education is becoming a commodity. You can learn more online than you probably could learn in the education system now. So the education system is becoming obsolete because you can learn anything that you want to learn online. So you've got to ask yourself, how important is the education that you're getting, and how does it map to the business that you want to run? That's why most people don't finish education. That's why most entrepreneurs and business owners don't really go through the full system, because they realize before they go through it all that it isn't for them. Their education's stopped now, and they can learn more off their own back than they ever could in the system. So that is something to consider as well. All right, that's my thoughts on that. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Again, any follow-up questions, let me know. Happy to run another episode for you. Have an amazing day. Make sure you tune in to the other episodes. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave a review, spread the word, share it out with your friends, and follow me on social media so you can keep up with everything else that I'm up to. Have an amazing day, and I look forward to chatting to you all again soon.